I am your host, Carrie, giving us different perspectives on where we are and where we want to go on our journey. Thanks for being here, and I look forward to spending some time with you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another session of the FoundHer Series. I am in the process of doing the Lighthouse project, all the authors, and interviewing them to give us a little insight into their chapter and what will be coming up at the summit. So today I have Lianne Cawley joining us. Lianne, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Carrie. Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. So the name of your chapter is Perfectly Yours, Imperfectly Me. And although we don't want to give away the whole chapter because we want people to read it in the book, what a powerful, powerful story you have given the readers who are going to read this. I read all the stories over before I interview you, and wow, it's brilliantly written. It's so relatable. Even if we haven't gone through what you've gone through, I think there's a lot of women who are going to relate to. Number one, what I really found was you mentioned the mirror a lot and how so many things mirror back how we're feeling. But you start off with touching on your latest journey, if I call it that. Would you like to fill us in a little bit on, you started it with that, you ended the chapter with that, and then what you gave us in the middle was just a little bit about you. And I hope there's a whole book because we need way more of you. And I know that's hopefully in the works. One day it's going to happen. Yes. So yeah, I would love to hear from you, kind of what brought you to decide to share your story now, and a little bit about the story without giving it all away. And if we give too much away, that's okay too, because they're still going to want to read it.
There's still so much that you could read in the chapter. So I started, I thought about writing this chapter mainly because I had just gone through a big health scare in my life. In 2023, I was diagnosed with leukemia, an acute form of aggressive form of leukemia. And I proceeded to go through intense treatment for almost a year throughout that. But it really changed my life in terms of like how I see my work and how I see my family and my entire perspective on life. Mm-hmm. And really like what was holding me back in the past, and really what I valued in the past was just so not important in comparison to what I had just gone through and what was really valuable in life. And so when I had the opportunity to write my story, I just felt like it was the right timing because I had changed so much. And so, yeah, this story it goes through different stages in my life, but it's about feeling enough and not feeling, or just not feeling enough and feeling like you have to be perfect throughout your life.
Yeah.
And after my cancer journey, and my journey still continues. Like I'm 2 years in remission and cancer-free now, but there's still times in my life or where themes in the past creep up and still affect me. But it was really just a time for me to just like let go of the idea of perfectionism. And I just really want to share that to the readers.
Which so many women that I talk to don't realize it's perfectionism when you're in it. You can kind of take a little step back and go, oh, that's what it was. I want to read a line from the book that I loved, and I think it kind of sums up what you're talking about beautifully. So for decades, I had clung to perfection as a lifeline. It had been my armor, my identity, my measure of worth. But when it mattered the most, perfection couldn't save me. Like, so many things, so many parts of your chapter got me emotional because it was so, the way you shared it was just so, I don't even have the right word, but you did it in a way that got me. Like that was like you allowed the reader to put themselves in your position and feel what you were going through, but in such a way that it wasn't about you. It was like I saw myself in your chapter. You know what I mean? Like it was like you had a really beautiful way of bringing something to light, allowing us to see that piece of ourselves while sharing your journey. Like it was remarkable that you did that. I mean,
Thank you.
I've read a lot of chapters, and I'm moved by a lot of chapters. And this one just seemed to have a different twist to kind of pull you into what you were going through, and that perfectionism piece. Like you said, so much of this starts when we're younger,
Mhm,
and a lot of that did for you. I mean, you share that with us in the chapter of being Chinese Canadian, the
mhm,
different culture, the expectations, the and no blame or shame to our families. It's just that's the way it was. That's how they were raised. I mean, this is how the generations actually get changed, is when we become aware of it and can
mhm.
not pass that along to the next generation. So
Exactly.
I know that there's no you're not doing anything to shame your family on any of this at all. But I do love that you brought it up, because I think it's a really important piece for us to be able to go back and look and kind of see how we got to where we were. So you talk about that initial not enoughness from a very early age, and then that led into your dance, which you
Mhm,
chose ballet,
mhm.
which talk about holding a mirror up to yourself. Like you're
Yeah,
surrounded.
dance world is not forgiving when it comes
Oh
to perfectionism.
no, but you I like that you touched on it, that you loved it so much. Like there was such a uh, not good and bad, but it brought so much good and then so much
Mhm.
not good, or on
Yeah.
the not enoughness and perfectionist part. So
Mhm.
it encouraged it, really, from the sounds of it, right?
Yes,
So,
for sure.
and then of course all of these things lead us into the relationships that we
Mhm,
attract. I mean, so much of this is just so relatable.
mhm.
And then it, I mean, I don't want to give it all away, but it's just so good. It's so good. I mean, you got into a relationship that you did feel small. And again, you weren't it this was not about blaming anybody. This was just seeing it for what it really was.
Mhm.
You had the courage to walk away from that. And I mean, I'm telling you, somebody who's engaged and that close to a wedding, that walks away, like that takes guts. Like to just, I know there's people that would just go through it because they don't want to deal with the, like,
What people think. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
worrying and disappointing, and oh my gosh, how are people gonna look at me? And you did that. Like that was a huge step for you, courageous
Mhm.
step. And then you talk a little bit about, but you also disappointed your
Yeah. A
parents by
disappointed
doing,
family. Yeah. I
right.
mean, I
So
had a conversation about that with my mom afterwards.
yeah, yeah.
But
But such a
yeah.
courageous move
Yeah.
on your part to do that, and feeling good about that decision that you made, because you finally chose yourself. And I think
Mhm.
that's one of the biggest messages in there, is choosing yourself.
Mhm.
And then okay, you can take a little bit further. It from that moment, even though you did have some disappointment in that, and kind of, you know,
Mhm.
who am I to have done this? But you really did go through that reinvention phase of yourself.
I did, yes. I
Yeah,
chose to rebuild my life in that moment, to find somebody who really loved me for who I was,
yeah,
and to rebuild my career because I was also in a job I wasn't necessarily happy with.
yeah,
And so there was a huge reinvention there, much like with me and my leukemia and my
yeah,
health challenges.
yeah,
Uh, but much like everything in life, like these patterns, they always creep back in, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
unless you can truly look back at yourself and really understand where these ideas and these like the idea of perfectionism comes from,
yeah.
then it's going to come back and continue to run your life. And
Hmm.
that's essentially the rest of the chapter is where
Yeah,
it did.
yeah,
Like it didn't matter if I was in a amazing relationship with somebody who really valued me or if I had the career that I wanted. Um, I still had to really love myself and
Yeah.
understand that I didn't need to be perfect in everything.
Yeah, and I think that's what you do so eloquently in the chapter is you take us through that of the you started to recognize that those were other people's voices that were in your head of the not enoughness. But then you were able to kind of drown those out when you started
Mhm.
to become more full of yourself, is what I would want to say. But you also realize that your own voice creeps back in, our own voices creep back in. So it doesn't matter what anybody else is saying anymore because we've kind of reached or jumped that hurdle. But then it
Mhm.
always comes back to what we're talking to about ourselves. So you went through um, that where you were in that reinvention phase, and then you took on entrepreneurship. Hello, mirror. uh, if that doesn't bring out every insecurity I've ever
Yeah,
had,
for
I don't know
sure.
what else will. But then you went into motherhood, I'm telling you, I've got have three daughters, and
Mhm.
you're holding a mirror up every single
Every
time.
single time. Yeah. Oh man. It doesn't
And
matter how many kids you have. Every child is different and it'll
yes,
test you every single time.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I know how much we both love being a mom, but it also brings up other parts of us that
Mhm.
either were buried deep or we didn't even know was there. But I like how you bring in that part of we can start to recognize patterns and they can creep back in. And if
Mhm.
you, I don't know if healed's the right part or the self-awareness of a certain piece that it's really touching on. If you've kind of come to grips with that and done something about that, it finds somewhere else. It finds
Mhm.
somewhere else to go. And
Yeah.
and so it's that always that awareness piece of, oh, there it is. There it is again.
Yeah.
And so for me, I applaud you for bringing that back into the chapter. Like, hey, this doesn't just go away. It
Mhm.
pokes its head in different areas. So there's
Mhm.
always that level of that self-awareness piece so that it doesn't take us down. Or it may take us down for a little bit, but we get up much quicker than
Yeah, for
before.
sure. There's those learning lessons there. And I mean, even after I finished writing the chapter and submitted it and everything, like I still went through another phase in
Yeah.
life where I was just like looking back at myself but I came back up quicker from
Yeah.
it,
Good.
understanding what is really what's more important in life
Yeah.
and understanding that, like I'm still learning, I'm still growing and I don't
Yeah.
need to have everything figured out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what a gift that is to give yourself. Like
Mhm,
just some of that weight off your shoulders of not
mhm,
having to be perfect. And you also mentioned that this cancer journey that you've been on has been such an eye opener. And I've always wondered about this because the women that I talk to have had that. I mean, that's a life-changing experience. I mean,
for
you
sure.
talked about there was a couple times where you weren't sure that you were coming out of there.
Yeah.
And that's got to change your perspective on everything. And for somebody like me who, knock on wood, has never had a life-changing experience, there will be. I know. I mean, I'm, whether it's losing somebody or those things are life-changing, but me personally, I haven't. And I always wonder, can you live a life without having that life-changing experience where everything comes into perspective, where you just go, those things just didn't matter. Like it feels like you're just so much more present and not perfectly present. Like you have
Yeah.
days that you're probably not. So,
Yeah,
but
for
like
sure.
when you talk about like it's the kids' hugs, it's the spending time at the park, like you just seem to really appreciate those moments more. And I just always wonder, like, do I appreciate those moments enough? If I haven't had something that just turned my life upside down, am I going to be
Mhm.
able to experience that like you are? Like,
I
what
mean,
has this done for you?
yeah, it's completely flipped a switch in my brain for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what I lead with, like I always lead with my heart now,
Yeah.
and my intuition as opposed to my brain.
Yeah.
Like, like in the work that I do, there's a lot of brain like strategy work, but
Right.
at the same time, it's kind of like you need to honor your own human intuition and the connections
Yeah.
that you have. And so it was hard for me to switch that because I was like, I'm an entrepreneur, right? And
Right.
I always focused on like what the best strategy was, even in my personal life, and what the best, like the next thing is, and the schedule and
Yeah.
everything, having things in order. And so now it's like, okay, if shit hits the fan, shit hits the fan, you know,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
a life or death situation, because I've been in that situation. I've been
Yeah.
in that situation where I didn't know if I was going to make it out of the hospital.
Yeah.
So if some emails don't get sent, who cares?
Yeah.
I am very strict about my work hours, and because of that, I'm more strict than I was before, because I want to spend time with my kids and I want to
Yeah.
see them. I want to witness them grow up. And
Mhm.
there's moments when I was in the hospital, I was like, I don't actually know if I'm gonna see my
Yeah.
son graduate or
Yeah.
watch my daughter's next dance recital. Like
Yeah.
I just really want to be there for those moments.
Mhm.
And those are what matter. And my health
Yeah.
matters. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever like really looked at taking care of myself
Yeah.
like the way I have now in the past. Like it's like, okay, I watch everything that I eat. I honor my energy levels. I take a look at like every morning, how do I feel? Okay, can I reschedule that meeting?
Yeah.
You know, like we've
Yeah.
rescheduled this podcast several
Yeah.
times because I've been sick.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just, yeah, it changes the way you think. And I know not everybody will go through a life-changing experience like mine and may not, have this new perspective, but I really hope that the message comes through in my story,
Mhm.
and that others have the same message come through, right? And
Yeah.
like this is the way to live. Like your life shouldn't be measured by how many hours you put into work and how like hard you work on a day-to-day basis, right? So it should be measured by like the moments you have with your loved ones and
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
the experiences that you really, really enjoyed, and the passion that you have in your life. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I I again, I just applaud you for what you've written and the what you've shared with us. I think it's going to resonate with so many people. I want to just wrap up with one piece, and that is what you just said about taking care of yourself, because
Mhm.
even in when you came out of the hospital and you're still dealing with it, I mean, your energy level, but you showed up, you put your makeup on, you dressed like you and you did that for yourself. But it also, which is a huge lesson that I've learned from you, is when you show up like that, people forget.
Yes.
And uh, that was just the biggest eye opener for me in how I now look at my mom, who was not cancer, but it was a stroke. And
Mhm.
and she still has all the energy, and she presents herself, and she takes care of herself, and she always has. But underneath that, there's still somebody who is recovering.
Mhm.
And I think just acknowledging that, because I think we also talked about that, where everybody just wants to get back to being comfortable. Everyone wants you to just be fine because it's hard on us when you're not fine, which is so like that's what it made me feel. I'm like, oh my God, I want my mom to be back to mom, because then none of us have to worry. And I realized, oh, this is all about me. This is not about the person that's going through it. Right?
She's never going to be back to normal.
Right. And
Um, yeah.
and to appreciate that and to support that, but still, to me, it was like still acknowledging
Mhm.
that piece, and to not just forget it and you're done, you're fine, you're in remission, so we're not going to worry about Lianne anymore. There's still that level of, we want some of those people that are still caring and still asking the questions like, how are you feeling? Like, do you still have the ups and downs? Like, how can I support that? Like that to me is something that I just was completely unaware of until we had that conversation. So I thank you so much for that, because it's
Of
helped
course.
me really. I think it's helping me become a better daughter. And
Mhm.
that's all I want
Yeah,
in
I mean,
this.
I hope that message comes through too. Like
Yeah.
it's to really just check in on people, and you
Yeah.
also like people that you don't know have gone through something.
Yeah.
You never know. They might have
Yes.
gone through something. And so to just be a little bit more kind and
Yeah.
give people a little bit more grace when it comes to just life in
Yeah.
general. And so I'm glad that that came
Yeah.
through for you, and that has helped you with your mom, because that's something that I have definitely noticed too. Like
Hmm.
a lot of people kind of just fell off,
Yeah.
like off the face of the earth, but like they don't check in on you anymore. But that's
Yeah.
also not their burden to
Right.
carry
Yep.
either.
Yep.
Also, like, oh, okay, like I think people think maybe I'm back to normal, but I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate it when
Yeah.
somebody does come back and check in on me. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter how many years in remission
Yeah.
I am,
Yeah.
they're like, how are you feeling today? And
Yeah.
because for somebody who's gone through cancer, for me, a lot of the struggle came after my chemo
Mm.
treatment. It came
Yeah.
on all the personal work I had to do,
Right.
and to just be living in a life now of being a cancer survivor and not
Right.
just a normal person.
Right.
So, and so
Because you're
much of
right.
that, yeah, it
You're
comes with everything. I have to get blood work done every month.
right.
Every time I fill out a health practitioner form, I have to check off the box that I've had cancer.
Right.
Like there's so much that comes with it, and
Yeah.
it'll come with anybody who's gone through a stroke as well,
Right.
And so there's a mental weight, and I really, really appreciate it when people check in. And so I'm
Hmm.
glad you check in on your mom, or you keep checking in on your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just try to keep that at the forefront. And yeah, it just makes me feel more connected, and
Hmm.
to make sure that she still feels seen, and she doesn't have
Yeah,
to try to be back to normal, because I think that's exhausting as
it
well.
is.
When you
Yeah.
want to make everybody else around you feel comfortable that you're okay,
Yeah.
that must be
Yeah.
exhausting.
It
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be really exhausting, but
Yeah.
and then I mean, that's something that I try not to think about too much, but
Yeah.
then I also forget, yeah, oh, everybody's living their daily lives,
Right.
and they're not always going to remember to check in on me too.
Right.
So it's
Right.
also me to be like, to honor myself, and to
Yes.
be like, no, you know what? I'm not okay today, you
Yeah.
know?
And I think that's like, to me, that was the message. It was almost like you need to give yourself that permission too. And I think that's probably, I know, Mom, sorry if you're listening, but I want her to have that permission to not be okay too on some of those days where you
For
don't have
sure.
to do that for us. Like, do
Mhm.
that for you, of just, no, I'm really tired today. I don't got it in me to whatever, have the conversation, or to make dinner, or to have people, like, I want that to be okay. And
Mhm.
I think you gave me that permission to do that with her. So I thank you for that. But your whole chapter is, you deal with, obviously life-changing situations, but you come out of it. Like, when I finished your chapter, I was just like, I just felt like invigorated. I felt like, holy shit. Like, for one thing, you're incredible. And on the other thing, I just know the difference this is going to make for a lot of women who read this. So it was like, I was just so proud of you. And then I was just like so excited to have this podcast interview with you today, because it's stories like these that it makes me just realize, like, these need platforms. These need to get out there, because there's women that need to read your chapter, and to see women like you who are courageous enough and vulnerable to share in the hopes of helping somebody. And I hope that there was part of this that helped yourself too in the process. That self-care that you talk about, that you're really turning that back. And I hope you're super proud of what you've done here in this chapter. And I'm so proud that you said yes to be a part of this project. So
Yeah, I'm definitely proud of the chapter or I wrote, and just taking the leap to do it,
yeah.
because um I mean, for me, like you've mentioned that I dance, and like I'm a creative person, my business is creative, and a lot of like my outlet is in creative,
Right.
like in dancing or in designing and in writing, and it was actually very therapeutic for me to be able to put all those thoughts on paper,
Good.
uh, to just really think through, oh my goodness, that really did affect me. Oh my,
Yeah.
that affected me too, and that affected me too. So
Yeah.
it was eye-opening for me as well when I wrote it, because when I started writing, I had no idea what I was going to write about, to be honest. I just knew I had gone through this life-changing
Yeah.
experience. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, how did I get here?
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful to you, Carrie, for even having the platform
Mm.
to have writers, people like me, to share their story, and all the work you do for women in general to help them feel like enough and full of
Mm.
themselves. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for having the Lighthouse series
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
general. Yeah.
You are so welcome. I mean, part of my story is about never feeling like I was enough. And
Hmm.
it's really important for me to, for other women to know that they are. No matter where they're at, what they're doing, they are enough just as they are. And
Hmm.
that's something that I think comes through in this project, that
Hmm.
there's a lot of women that feel like that, and there's a lot of us that are willing to admit we felt like that. And it's
Yeah.
okay. You know,
Yeah.
it's so important. Um, so I said we were ending, but I need one more thing. Because, okay, can you, I know that you're an interior designer. Can you share your company name in case somebody wants to follow you, and they're coming to the summit to meet you. You are one of the speakers, so I'm
Yeah.
super excited about that. And they're going to get a copy of the book. But just before they get there, can you tell me a little bit about your company, the name, and also I would love to know, because you in your branding,
Hmm.
you help women uncover who they are so it comes out in their branding. So to me,
Yeah.
it's just like you're embodying absolutely everything that you do. And it's the beauty that comes out, and it's the intuition, and it's the heart. So I feel like you're such a heart-centered and led entrepreneur.
Hmm.
And did this change some of the way you look at your interior design and your branding? So,
Sorry to correct you there. I'm not an interior designer,
oh,
but I'm
sorry,
a graphic
a
designer.
graphic designer. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. Thank you
But I
for
was going to tell you
correcting
to
me.
edit
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm a branding designer, branding
yeah.
and graphic designer. I run a studio called Chapter 35. So with my health journey, originally I focused a lot on the visuals of branding um, before, and just, putting out graphic work and designing logos, designing identity systems. And throughout my journey, my health journey, I really just realized that I wanted to do more. And in uncovering my own story, I
Mm,
understood that my story connected communities, connected people, and that's the real part of branding is connection.
yeah.
Um, and so wanting to help my clients and help business owners share their stories, I now
Mhm.
kind of transition to sharing brand stories. And so,
Yes.
and ultimately your story, and how you built your business, the reasons why you built your business, and your
Mhm.
value, that is what makes you unique. And so that's the only, in my opinion, the only way to really brand yourself and to brand your business. And so that's what we do now. So now it's not just the visuals, it's
Mhm.
in helping our clients, who are mostly women. I would say 85% of our clients are women.
Yeah.
um, and like just share their stories, but through their voice in their brand and through their visuals.
Yeah.
So we do that by, getting to know you first, and by getting to know your story. And then we kind of weave aspects of that into the visual and into the rest of your brand. And so that's through like our design services. I also offer brand coaching, where I can help walk you through that and developing your story and how to integrate that into the different aspects of your business. So
Love that.
yeah, you can reach me at chapter35.ca on Instagram or Facebook, or our
Yeah.
website is chapter35.ca. And so, yeah.
And you have the very good branding workshop coming up?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Can you?
I didn't know when this podcast would be aired.
Yeah.
So the Very Good Branding Workshop is on March 5th, in
Okay.
Edmonton at the Penn Dennis building. And that's where I have partnered up with Emily Igiotti. She's gonna kill me for butchering her last name. Um, on this workshop. So we just saw a need in helping women in branding, because a lot of the perception of branding is that, oh, I just need a logo and that's it. But there's so much more to branding than just your logo.
Yeah.
It's like your business mindset and understanding your values and your voice and your purpose. Then
Mhm.
there's the strategy and visuals, and then there's alignment and following your intuition. And so we've built this 1-day workshop around all of those ideas in business and business wellness and
Love it.
business branding. And
Yeah.
there's a handful of speakers. There's some really great speakers: Jillian Shecker, Selena Gray, She Tells
Nice.
Stories,
Love it.
Tanya Puka from Marrow Studio, myself and Emily, and a bunch of panelists as well. And it's just a full day dedicated to business wellness and
Love it.
branding. And it's not just like a sit down thing. There's going to be activations. There's fun little activities throughout, and just a whole day also for you to focus on your business and to connect with other business owners as well. So
Love
yeah,
it.
you can find us that workshop at Very Good Branding Workshop
Okay.
on Instagram, or www.verygoodbrandingworkshop.com. So you can also
Awesome.
find it on my own personal Instagram.
Love
So
it. So that is March 5th in Edmonton.
yes.
Excellent. Okay. Good. I wanted to make sure we got that in there, and I will make sure this podcast comes out before that date.
Then, yes, I appreciate it, Carrie.
Yes. This is
Yeah.
women helping women, supporting women. That's what we're all about. That's what this whole group is about, you know? I love that. It's my favorite part. So, yeah.
I
So,
love
Lianne, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm looking forward to everyone being at your workshop, March 5th, and then coming down to Calgary for April 11th, where they get a copy of the book
Yes,
as part of their ticket at the summit. And they get to hear you speak and then talk
yes.
to you on the panel. So,
I'll be
I'm
speaking a little bit there, so I'm excited.
Yes, me too. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. And we hope to see you in Edmonton or in Calgary coming up soon. We'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.